What is going on, crypto miners, and welcome back to the channel. Well, today I'm joined once again by your friend Andy. How are you, Andy?
Hello, hobbyist, my friend. Good to see you as always.
Absolutely. Always fun getting together with your friend Andy and my friend Andy. But today we got a great topic. Why not? Sure. Go check out his channel. Links down below. Be his friend. But yes, let's jump into it a little bit here. This is a great subject and a great topic that I see a lot from inside the community during frustrations and outside the community for those that don't understand and that are frustrated. And our topic for today is crypto mining a scam? And this is a broad topic. We could be talking about this for a while, but I thought I would at least jump over to you, Andy. And how do you respond to that question when you get that from the public?
Oh, there's so many ways. Depends on also kind of the context of the way that they're saying it. Typically, when someone's saying that, it's because they've had a really bad experience and or they just are completely ignorant. They just do not understand it. I feel like those who've been in the space for a while, who have experience doing this whole mining thing for longer than a couple of months or the height of the bull run, for example, know that, no, it's not a scam, but there certainly are scams out there, and there are certainly ways you can play this whole mining thing to where you feel like you're getting scammed because you made such, unfortunate timing decisions or unfortunate FOMO decisions and got into something that you didn't fully grasp, and now you're, feeling the pain of it. So that's anything from like buying new ASICs at their all-time high prices in a bull run, and then everything corrects and they make basically nothing. They become paperweights. That's a tough learning, experience, and that can feel like a scam, though it's not, just a timing issue. But then the flip side is there's stuff you actually have to be careful about, which, there's like cloud mining, which I won't say across the board all cloud mining is a scam, but a lot of it is. And if you actually do the math, you think about it, you're not winning in that scenario. So it's, I think, any way you slice it, the way me and you do it is a scam. No, but yeah, you gotta walk carefully. You're always walking on some thin ice in the world of crypto, and especially with crypto mining.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you actually hit a number of really good points there. First off, let's start off with the buying experience, because that's where I hear the frustration of, is crypto mining a scam? And there's a lot of avenues that you can approach this with. The first one that I know of the most is I find people that literally find hardware they want to buy, sometimes because they watch a YouTuber online or an influencer online. They're like, okay, I want that, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to Google that product, find the cheapest option possible on some random scammy site and buy it. And then they never receive it. And they don't know what happened. Where did my crypto go? Where did my money go? And that is a very common situation where I hear from people that are like, I'm a first-time crypto miner. I bought this. I never got it. What do I do? And I'm like, how did you pay? And they're like, with crypto. And I'm like, and what happened? And the company's gone. Well, it's gone too. And so what happens is people fall for this time and time again because they're almost used to more a traditional consumer experience, where they have like a credit card company to fall back on for these types of things. You don't have that traditionally in crypto. So I find this one at least to be one of the biggest ones I see for beginners, is buying from untrusted and unknown resellers. What do you think about that? What experience have you seen? Today's video is sponsored by the team over at asicmarketplace.com. With crypto mining hardware prices dropping, it's critical to find an online store you can trust with your ASIC purchases. The team at asicmarketplace.com has you covered with some of the most competitive pricing on the market. No matter what brand you're looking for, ASIC Marketplace has it. To name just a few: Bitmain, Goldshell, WhatsMiner, IBLink, iPolo, JazzMiner, and many more. There are no surprises with ASIC Marketplace. The price listed on their website includes shipping. Imagine that. Finally, ASIC Marketplace takes the buying experience to the next level by accepting cryptocurrency as payment directly on their store. Go check out ASIC Marketplace today via the link in this video's description down below, as well as save $110 at checkout with discount code TheHobbyistMiner.
Well, we both have, we both work with different companies that are
Hmm.
resellers or providers of ASICs, and we typically like stick with those companies for a reason. Like I can't tell me. I mean, I really I've narrowed down because I basically only buy from Musk miners. But there's obviously there's other reputable um, sources out there to buy machines from. But when people, I talk about these new machines I just bought, people say, "Oh, you should have bought it here. You should have bought it here. Or look online, they're half the price." I'm like, maybe, like, I'll ask hobbyists which of these companies that he's worked with or something like that. But there's so many fake companies and fly-by-night operations, and especially if you're paying with crypto, you might be kissing your money goodbye forever. So that's certainly a very difficult to navigate section, which is why I'm willing to pay a premium to know I'm going to actually get the damn thing that I, purchased with my money. And I also like the option, if I'm not buying from a super trusted person, to buy with credit card or something, so I have something to fall back on if things go south. But, when it comes to like buying into this stuff, FOMO is such a big part of it. 2 cycles ago, when there was lots of kryptonite coins to be mined. Every day I was on the Bitcoin Talk forums, and I'd be reading in the altcoin announcement section, finding new coins that were launching, but also in the altcoin mining section where there's like new ASICs being announced and stuff. And there's one in particular, it was always like this one I think about. There were these little bitty low power ASIC boards that had just incredible numbers. Like I want to say it was like a $500 board you could run to mine kryptonite coins, but it was making like $500 a day. And in my newbie stage, I was like, I gotta buy this thing. They only took crypto, but I just had this weird gut feeling. And so I was sending some emails and asking questions. I wasn't getting these answers back that were satisfying. And so I ultimately passed, but I kept lying awake at night thinking about, oh my God, I could be making all this money. It's an incredible opportunity. Am I making a huge mistake? And then I actually reversed my decision. And like a week later, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go for it because this is going to be too good to, pass up. And they weren't responding to emails. All these people were complaining. They ran with everybody's money, of course. It was like a whole thing that had faked the hardware. There's 1,000 examples like that, and maybe you want to talk to this, but like I feel like in this space you have to learn how to control the emotions to some degree, because if you're just gonna like run into this up because the sexy profits today are like really compelling. I mean, you just bought a machine from someone who bought based on the daily profits, and then they received it months later, and those profits, where are they?
Yeah, it's a great segue. So a great example of that was individual, all excited about the KS5 Pro, saw amazing profitability out of the unit, $130 a day or whatever. It wasn't shipping for 2 months. During that 2-month period, all of us Castle miners know how much hardware came online, how much hash rate came online. By the time he got it delivered, it was down to like $30 a day. However, he had leveraged debt to purchase and made a loan for $50,000 to buy a bunch of hardware, and now it was making fractions of that, and he couldn't afford it, and had to sell it right away and take that loss. That example is very much what, unfortunately, too many people get into, and we see this time and time again, where hardware is released and it makes X, and by the time the person gets it, it makes half of that, and then by the time it's been running for a week or two, it's now a quarter of that, and it's like, wait, what has happened? And I think that is something that I have seen time and time again in my community, where people get frustrated, upset, call crypto mining a scam, and they want someone to blame when they buy it now, and it's not traditionally making that same amount every day moving forward. Like if it was, man, we'd be rich right now, Andy. If our hardware was making exactly what it was making when it was announced, that would be insane. However, this market, I feel like more and more, and I think you and I have discussed this, there's so much hardware coming out so quickly that, like, unfortunately, that value of what it was made today with and what is priced at is gone by the time you get it. And so my rule of thumb to people is take the price of what it's listed at or the profitability, cut it in half, and then expect it a month later to be a quarter. And that's really realistically as to where you may be with hardware.
And that's if you can get it in the shorter term. If it's got like a 2 or 3 month wait period, well, then you need to look at the past 2 or 3 months, take that data set, extrapolate that into the future, what the profitability might look like, and then cut it in half or by a fourth. because that's now, I don't want to be down on some of this stuff, because I truly do believe there's a potential that in the bull run things go crazy enough in price. Some of these machines could be making those crazy numbers again, but that's the gamble of mining. It is not a guarantee. You might just only ever get, slowly deteriorating profits over time. And it takes you a long time to get your money back, but eventually you do. But you might never see those explosive profits one day. Or conversely, the stars align. The next crypto cycle is 5 or 10 trillion dollars in total market capitalization, which could be a reality. Tons of inflows coming in. Some of our Bitcoin's flying. Some of our favorites like Caspa are flying, and people are minting tokens on these things, and the transaction fees are wild. And then they're actual money printers just spitting out, like the Federal Reserve in our backyard, just spitting out the dollars. And that's best case scenario. But again, the opposite can happen. Is not a guarantee. It is a total gamble, because there's so many variables, and so you have to be really comfortable with those variables and with that gamble. And if you're not, well, then just buy the coin, or buy the thing.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point. People only ask this question of, is crypto mining a scam, when they're in these situations of they're not making the profitability that they expected, or a product is taking longer to get to them, and it's the manufacturer's part. The manufacturer is a scam, or the project the great example here, the value of that coin has dropped significantly. So the amount that you're earning per day and making per day is significantly less. That's really when people are upset and asking the question, is crypto mining a scam? None of us were questioning it when Ethereum was through the roof back during the Ethereum proof of work days, or last bull run in the height of it. We were the last ones to be asking, is crypto mining a scam? Instead, we were like, jump on board, like make this money with us. So I totally get it. So timing is absolutely a factor, and that runs from the project. It runs through where the state of the economy. It runs through the hardware, through as you had said, who you buy it from, where you buy it from, the timing of that. I think you did mention something earlier, and I think this is really, really good too as well. This question also comes up a lot when people are talking about NFT fractional mining, or with cloud mining, on like you're mining, but you're not really mining, and you're buying an item. And that's a really hard one for people to grasp. What are your thoughts on that?
So, I mean, almost every cloud mining thing I've encountered is not favorable to the person who's buying the cloud mining hash rate. You very rarely, actually get more money out than you put in. There's exceptions, and I've met people who've, had better experience and stuff. But generally, it hasn't been very favorable. So I don't typically go down that avenue. Fractionalized mining, I love the idea. But, over the past year and a half to 2 years, how many of the projects that we were, some of us were really excited about are still hashing or still exist today? And that sucks, because, some of them, I know the people behind them, and I really like the people behind them. And some of it's just really bad luck. But, when it comes to that type of stuff, especially if it's somebody who is not a seasoned miner, who hasn't been doing it for years and years and years, who's building their own mining facility, their own infrastructure, all the stuff from scratch for the first time, that's not easy. There's a reason these massive operations have this crazy overhead, and this crazy amount of teams, and all these factors that go into it, because it's not easy to do. So, when it comes, anything that I feel like makes the process significantly easier to you or cheaper to you, there's either lots of hidden costs, there's some way where it's not benefiting you as much, or there might be a catch down the line. So I don't want to write that stuff off as like they are scams, or you should never get into them, but you have to be pretty damn sure, like, that all the factors that go into it, that you have a reasonable expectation of what comes out the other side, because otherwise you will get burned, and then you'll probably say this was all a big scam. But I'm curious, what do you think about, like, have you ever experienced cloud mining, and then two, were you ever in any of the fractional mining projects?
Yeah, so I think most people aren't calling buying these mining NFTs or getting into cloud mining. They're not calling them scams until those projects have folded, or
Yeah.
the company has closed or it's not available anymore. When you're in the middle of it and you're like, this is awesome. I bought this for X. I have no overhead per month and expenses and I still earn Y. You're not complaining. So once again, it's when things aren't working out. The unfortunate thing is these NFT mining projects or these cloud mining projects. I've gotten into NFT mining, not really big on NFTs, but NFT mining I've been much more interested in. And for those unfamiliar, traditional NFTs are either something graphical or something digital that you just buy outright, versus NFT mining. NFT is more like I have purchased X amount of hash rate on a project, and then I have that for whatever that lifetime is. Unfortunately, sometimes short with some of these. And then I'm still earning that crypto to my wallet at the end of the day. And so cloud mining, same situation where you're like paying for hash rate, but you don't really know what miners are behind it and how you're actually getting that on the other side of it. And so, as I said, most people aren't complaining it's a scam until these projects have closed down. And I've been a part of a few, same ones that you've been a part of, some other ones as well. And usually it comes down to two factors as I see why these projects end up closing up shop. One, mismanagement of money, which is the common thing with any business, I feel like, out there, or they're affected directly by the market. And directly with their project, where the project that this was based off of, like, just almost dies, and then the profitability has dried up. And I think that's the biggest challenge. And I think there's a lot of risk with those, but there's also a lot of reward with those too. Like if you can get in early enough, if you can go ahead and earn enough. So it's kind of give or take. I think it still falls into that crypto mining category and that questionability of a scam. I thankfully have not been over leveraged on any of these, so it's not the end of the world to me. Whereas others, I think, see this, think it's their golden ticket, over leverage on it. It closes down a year or two later, and now they're like, what do I do now?
Yeah, and one of the big things about calling crypto mining a scam or feeling that way, and to anybody who has that thought, who said those words or typed those words, I mean, you should really think about what that word actually means. Like, the word scam means these people set out with the goal to steal your money. That was their intention from the beginning. And the reality is, and you might not want to hear it because you're unhappy about how everything turned out, and I get that and I understand that, but the reality is, most of the time, at least with the ones I've been exposed to, that's not the case. It is not malicious intent from the get-go. It is just a series of unfortunate events, and it just didn't work out. And that is the reality of 90% of crypto projects. They just eventually trend towards zero. They just don't work out because the world doesn't need 25, 50,000 tokens and crypto coins and projects. It needs a fraction of that, right? And there's going to be a bunch that just don't, work out. So you have a hype cycle where they go up in price and stuff. And if you got out, great. If you don't, well, then you just ride it into oblivion. That doesn't mean it was a scam. It means you just didn't pick the winning racehorse, which is unfortunate. But I think you really have to change the mentality to just where when things don't go your way, you just immediately go, scam, it's their fault, they, whatever. You have to take some responsibility and go, I knew risks going into this. Did I set appropriate expectations? Did I do appropriate risk management? Or was, I overly hopeful? Did I over leverage? Did I set myself up for failure? And that's where, me and you share something where we, preach diversify.
Mm-hmm.
Because, if you have a handful that do fail, well, then hopefully you have a handful that do super well, and you kind of hedge against those failures.
Yeah, no, it's really funny. My last question on this was what warnings do you give to viewers or consumers on crypto mining? And it's funny, you literally stepped right into it, which I think is perfect. And I think you're absolutely right on some of those things. I think one, the accountability side, we're all adults. So you need to be responsible for your financial decisions. I think too quickly, you talked about at the top of this video, people FOMO in. They see that profitability in that moment, and they're like, I went in on it right now. I haven't done any research. I'm just looking at these numbers. Like, I want to get in on it. And so research, I think, as you said, is very important. I think where newcomers come in and don't know who to reach out to, I think that is a challenge that people do have. Finding a community, Sleep Money Club is a great community, or even my Discord as well, just to jump in and ask questions from people that are more seasoned, people that have been crypto mining for some time. You know, hey, thoughts on this project, thoughts on this hardware, is this too good to be true? I mean, those are 3 questions that literally could lead you to someone that says, yeah, don't touch that. That manufacturer is very scammy, or that, you know, that project is on the way out, or that profitability number is not correct. Those are all things I think that we as the community need to lean on more, instead of just following the numbers. Actually start to utilize resources out there. There's lots of great YouTube videos, lots of great websites, and lots of great communities that I think people can venture towards to get the answers that they need. And I think that's the big one. We, as people that feel like we're being scammed, we want to hold someone accountable, either the project, the hardware manufacturers, YouTubers, because they saw a video on it. I can't tell you the amount of videos that people comment on that are from 2 years ago, questioning the profitability and like why it's not worth that today. And it's like, whoa, this was from 2 years ago. Like, really got to do your research to understand how quickly. I mean, 2 years, that is like a lifetime twice from the crypto scene. Like, it's absolutely crazy to me.
Oh yeah, almost every video I put out talks about, you know, profitability, or this mining machine makes this, or this node makes this. It's almost certainly out of date by the time that it gets through the edit and we push it live, and then it's live, and it's like, no, it's actually no longer accurate, for better or for worse. That's just, you know, crypto market moves extraordinarily quickly. Yeah, I feel like, you know, if you find yourself in a place where you really want to jump into things, the only time when you can actually get away with like just jumping into stuff right away because it seems like awesome and the profits are amazing, I gotta get in now, is if you either have just tons of disposable income that you're okay like throwing and seeing what sticks, and you don't care if half of it or all of it goes, you know, to zero, or you're just really experienced in this space. You have tons of time, you know what has the right signs to jump in super fast and super early. But otherwise, there's no harm, if you are someone who's not a seasoned professional in this space, to just take a chill pill and step back and think through it rationally, logically, and a little bit slower, because, you know, crypto moves fast, but for every opportunity that you miss today, there's 100 more waiting, I promise. And it's only going to get more intense as we get closer and closer to the bull market. But my advice was going to be what you just said, which is join communities. Join mine, Sleep Money Club. It's paid. Join hobbyists, jump in there for free. There's all these other mining YouTubers and crypto YouTubers who are super, you know, great people, have communities you can go in. And there are people in there who will shoot you straight. Like, you just ask them, you know, is this a scam? And they will say, yes, absolutely, or no, or it's not, but I wouldn't jump in now. They'll give you their honest opinion because they're also thinking about this stuff, and they've probably also been around for a little while. So, you know, take videos with a grain of salt, because we're just sharing, you know, the thing that we're interested in at the time we make it. Stuff changes. We can only respond to so many comments. You know, there's only so much that resource can provide. But if you actually ask real people in the thick, in the mix of it, you're going to get great, you know, unbiased, honest answers, and that community will, I don't know, save you thousands and thousands of dollars and be worth its weight in gold, I think.
Absolutely. So, folks, I think we have helped to answer, is crypto mining a scam, throughout this video. If you guys have more comments, concerns, or questions, leave them down below. Andy and I would love to read them. Other than that, please check down below as well for Andy's YouTube channel. Go over and check him out. And for myself and Andy, we'll see you guys next time. Take care. Sorry to interrupt your video, but check this out. I constantly get emails from the community asking me about trustworthy hosting facilities in the United States that I recommend. Well, I got you covered. Listen up. A few months back, I visited Block Ops Mining's brand new facility in Central Arkansas. The team there was super professional, knowledgeable, and everyday miners like you and I. After visiting the facility, I sent them a few of my ASIC miners for hosting and have been super happy with their service and communication. Go contact Block Ops Mining directly down below in the video description and tell them the Hobbyist Miner sent you for great pricing on miners and hosting.